Last time out, we talked about how working out can help you beat the stress at home. Here's part two of our interview with Dr. Nick Rolnick.
One of the other things you speak a lot about is blood flow restriction. I was hoping you could share some information on that with our fans at home because, they can get the same benefit of lifting heavier weights with lighter weights.
I'm very fortunate to be a leader in helping the mass adoption of this technology. And I think the easiest way that we can kind of frame what blood flow restriction training is and how we use it is really to relate it back to back in the day, in the 70s, where Arnold Schwarzenegger was popularized. He's one of the most popular bodybuilders ever. He was really popularized by chasing the pump. Meaning that when he would exercise and the blood that gets into the muscle to feed that muscle with energy, well, that blood pools in that limb and it gives that stretchy feeling, that feeling of fullness. And honestly, to a lot of people, it's euphoric. And what that pump signals during exercise is that we are producing a shift in our equilibrium, now more toward positive physiologic adaptation. So relating it back to blood flow restriction training, we use blood flow restriction training to chase that pump. And because of the unique environment that BFR produces in the exercising limb, we're now able to replicate that same type of pump that we normally can only get with moderate to heavy load strength training, but now we can get it with light loads or in some cases, no loads at all. And blood flow restriction training, with that being said, is using a specialized cuff that is applied to the proximal most portion of the arm or the leg. And we calibrate the pressure. It's most likely think about it like getting your blood pressure taken, where the cuff gets really tight and then it relaxes and then you get your blood pressure. Well, with BFR, we take that same type of scenario, but we inflate it to a percentage of, in the most simplistic sense, is your blood pressure. So you're always getting blood flow to the limb, but you're having a very difficult time getting blood back into your heart. So that creates an oxygen demand mismatch. And as such, we now are able to stimulate those muscle fibers that are only normally recruited during moderate to heavy strength training, but now we can do it at a very light intensity. But much like what I said before about exercise and the exercise starting really when you have discomfort and you want to quit, well, blood flow restriction training is a way that, yes, you can use very light loads, but you are going to experience that burning and that feeling of discomfort a lot quicker. But again, that is almost what I view as the cost of being able to utilize very low weight in order to get the same benefits, and in some circumstances, even superior benefits. If we're talking about other body tissues or other things like pain relief, for example, as traditional therapy.
And Doc, you're able to help patients to rehab through something that you call the joy of pain-free movement. Explain a little bit more there as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think, my whole philosophy is I want to find that imbalance that exists. And that could literally be, in most circumstances as a physical therapist, it's some pain is being produced. But also in the fitness setting, using my my knowledge of exercise programming to make sure that as we are pushing the limit on that person, whether we're lifting more weight, we're trying to sprint faster, et cetera, that we're not developing any imbalances that could lead to the pain and or other dysfunction. So with that, though, my goal with any client that I see is to get them back to whatever they want to do as quickly as possible and to experience the joy of pain-free movement, right? Everybody wants to, or I would hope that everybody wants to be able to do what they love and not have to worry about pain. And that is the driving reason why I love what I do, because I feel like at the bare minimum, even though I only work with a small amount of people in the grand scheme of things, I feel like I am able to make a difference in their lives and the people that are involved, the people surrounding the people that I work with. And hopefully, on the grand scheme of things, I'm able to make the world a little bit of a better place, as cheesy as that does come across.
Well, you're a local guy, which I think is great too. So obviously those at home that are tuning into this can reach out to you, a product of Scarsdale High School, and played college baseball at Franklin and Marshall, captain of the team. So I know as an athlete, this is something that's also near and dear to you, something that you've had to go through. I was curious how you got into sports medicine. And I know too that you're teaching at Lehman College here in the Bronx, which is great because that's where our studios are located too.
Oh, small world. Yeah, I mean, I've always been into health and fitness. I wrestled in college, in high school, and really just valued the whole, I put my work in and I get that result. Exercise for me has always been a vehicle that I never really appreciated how much exercise can positively impact our lives. But as a teenager looking to try to get as jacked as possible, that was always on my radar, was exercise. And yeah, I must thank my mother because when I graduated college, I will say, I had a great time. But I never really truly found my calling in college. And I graduated and I was about to take a job that I probably shouldn't have taken. And my mom said, "Oh, you're into fitness. You're into, working out. How about you try to become an aide at a PT clinic?" And an aide, for those who are not aware, is somebody who works in the clinic, physical therapy clinic, and helps clean up tables, occasionally may, help with covering exercises with particular patients or other, non-patients and just clients. And when I went there, it was a clinic in Greenwich, Connecticut. And within 4 months, I was like, oh my gosh, like, this is awesome. Like, we can actually not only leverage like my passion for exercise and health, but to help people find that balance back and get them out of pain and get them to reach their goals. And then I went and I basically took classes at night at Westchester Community College because I needed to get my grades up because I partied a decent amount in college. I have, I always say #no regrets, as Drake once said, YOLO. So, I did what I had to do, and I went and got my master's degree at American, where I was fortunate enough to run a gym, which was cool as part of my graduate assistantship, but also intern with strength and conditioning coaches with volleyball, wrestling, and men's soccer. So I was able to see how relatively, elite strength and conditioning coaches operate. So that gave that fed my knowledge and my passion for sports performance. And then I was lucky enough to go to Columbia on the Upper West Side and get my doctorate. So I'm very fortunate, again, like, long road, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I'm just, again, if anybody's listening and is lost in their ability to or is having difficulty taking that next step, I would be more than happy to help nudge you along and provide you the guidance and support that you would need in order to get back into balance and get back to the activities that you want to do and love as quickly as possible.
Well, I'm definitely inspired. People can find you at the HPM on Instagram and other websites and social media too, correct?
That is correct. Yeah. I mean, if anybody is listening and wants to know more about my philosophy and treatment philosophy and who I'm about, then yeah, my Instagram is probably one of the best, at the HPM, like you said, short for the Human Performance Mechanic. But also my website, it's currently undergoing some revisions, but it's live. It's www.thehpmny.com. And I'd be happy to help if in any way, shape, or form, just because I want people to get back to balance if they feel like they're out of balance.